Islam, Islam, Islam. I am C. Lander Bay, and this is another installation of Moor Not Poor. So today is a good day. As you can see, it's pretty sunny out here. This week you have the Democratic National Convention going on in Chicago. So we've been focusing in, paying attention to that, because you know these folks are in Mecca, which is the Moorish capital, which we call Chicago. And you know the Moors ain't going for none of that. But we're gonna be watching this fake movie going on, gleaning some insight, understanding how these folks run the government, how they run the government into the ground, how they speak, how they act. Because number one lesson is to study your opponent, not to just say that the United States is our opponent, but the European has been dominating, and so you want to study the European. Noble Drew Ali says this is the quote. He says, "I'm going to leave the European in power long enough so that you may learn how to run government." So it's very essential. And I know the way that I speak and the concepts that I talk about is very contradictory to what most so-called black people talk about. When you're talking about revolution, or you're talking about uplifting people, you're talking about freedom, most of the time people think about separation. They don't talk about assimilation, or they don't even talking about using certain tactics that the enemy uses. You want to just completely separate. You want to forget European culture, period. But you can't forget European culture when you realize that European culture really is Moorish culture. There's no such thing as European culture without acknowledging where the Europeans got that culture from in the first place. And for those who don't, maybe thinking I'm just going too far, because there's a group of individuals on the internet who hate when people bring up this type of history, because you think that people are trying to impose themselves on a history that doesn't belong to them, and that's not true. I give you a perfect example, because see, most people don't even know where these words come from. For instance, the word Scotland is named after a woman named Queen Scotia, who was an Egyptian princess, if I'm not mistaken. Now, how many people have told you that? So you're talking about Scotland, which is indigenously, or the group of the culture that dominated in Scotland were the Celts, or the Celtics, who were Moors. Clear indication is by the name Scotia. It's another one, Europa. I think it was a queen named Europa. That's where the word Europe comes from. Okay. Right? So I'm just going to leave that there, because it's evidence to show that the original Europeans were extrapolations from the African population. The original Europeans, the original governors and rulers of European lands were Moors. That's just what it is. So when we're talking about European culture, there is no European culture without having Moorish culture. When you talk about the national dance, I implore any one of you to look up what is the national dance of England. It's going to be called the Morris dance, Morris. Anybody that does any research will see that it's called the Morris dance because it is a Moorish dance. No. And see, this is the confusion, because when people talk about Moors, you think about North Africa, you think about Islam. These people in England didn't know nothing about North Africa and Islam. These people were just Moors by virtue of their bloodline, by the fact that their ancestors have always called each other Moors, and that they've been calling each other Moors so long that they don't even know if the word Moor which referred to the land was named after the people, or if the people were named after the land. Because if you look up the definition of Moor, M-O-O-R, you would see a large tract of land which is similar to like a swamp or a bayou type of thing. And there's a lot of moors in England and in Europe. And so history shows that the Moors historically stayed in moors, or tracts of land. If you look at that movie Maleficent was the queen of the Moors. Look it up. She wore all black. She had horns representing the bull, representing the Moorish strength, representing Isis or Aset, right? Representing the crescent moon. So you have Maleficent being the queen of the Moors. Now I'm bringing all this up to just bring it back full circle to let you know that anytime you study the European, you are doing nothing but studying yourself. Don't allow people to make you think, oh, he's acting so-called white. Oh, he a square. He doing this and this and this. No, you are a square because you're standing on your square. You know, how can somebody disrespect the square? What you trying to say, that you rounded off, you well-rounded, you 360 degrees? A square is 360 degrees as well. All you do is you take that square and you put that circle inside that square. You know, you round off. You could put the circle on the outside of the square or the inside of the square. It doesn't even matter. But being a square, there's nothing wrong with being an L, 7 being G, representing God, which is why when you see the Masons, they always have a G in the middle, representing the 7th letter, which 7 represents God. We know this. So I'm just bringing this to y'all to encourage you on your journey of identity, or of the search of your identity, helping you in the search of true history, helping you in the uplifting of fallen humanity. This is my duty, this is my responsibility, and I uplift myself by uplifting you. So I hope anything that I said today resonates with you. I hope it encourages you to do some more research. I'm gonna tap in as much as possible. I got more videos coming with more information. Right now I'm just doing a conversational piece because I think it's important to have conversations and not always be information, or just not always jam-packing the video with information. So if you like this format, or if you like the information, let me know the difference. Let me know what you think. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. Islam. Now, I hope you live as long as you want, and I hope you never want for as long as you live. This is Sealander Bay, and this is More Not Poor. Islam, Islam, and Islam. Tell somebody that you love them.